Recovery channel. Thanks for coming to our live. Forgive us for being a little bit back here, but I really wanted to show off some of Leslie's books up here so you could see some of her large body of work. So first of all, this is a Reach Out Recovery Live for parenting tips. I am Lindsay Glass, one of the founders of Reach Out Recovery. This is my mom, Leslie Glass.
Hi, welcome everyone.
Co-founder
of Reach Out Recovery.
Co-founder of Reach Out Recovery. So we have our own journey, our own mother-daughter story. We wrote a book about it. It became an Oprah's book club choice. It is therapist recommended, and we did that because we have our own journey of walking through mother-daughter dysfunction, mother-daughter fighting. We had a breakup. We actually didn't speak for a couple of years. And because we did all of our healing and recovery work, and we are writers, we started writing about it, and we saw from our audience at Reach Out Recovery, what did we see?
We saw that we were not alone in our struggles, and there are millions and millions of mothers and daughters out there who are struggling with so many different issues and need some help to sort of unpack and sort out and heal their own traumas.
One of the things that we think is sort of tragic, and we know from our own experiences, sometimes you can get in such a bad way with your mom or your daughter. You can get into the fighting habit that you really kind of feel lost. You really feel like you hate her. You really feel like you can't get through to each other.
You feel stuck.
Very, very stuck, very hopeless. So a lot of what we do, we're not trying to give you huge concepts. We're trying to give you information and actionable tips that you will be able to use in your daily life, tips that will actually work. So today we're going to talk about what's trending and important for mothers in parenting, specifically daughters, but we'll open it up. I think there's a lot that can be applied to here for sons as well. But again, I just want to say who my mom is. My mom is a 9-time New York Times mystery writer. She wrote a very successful series about a detective in New York City. It was really interesting being the child of a famous writer. These were in the days when writers actually went on book tour the way musicians did, because books is all there was back in the 90s. People came out to hear authors, so you were really like quite a celebrity.
It was so fun. But Lindsay, you were part of my journey.
No, yeah, go ahead.
You did come on some of my book tours. And you were in the studio with me when I got interviewed.
I was.
You had the author's experience before you had the real author's experience.
I did, and one of the things that we've written about is what it's like to be a working, successful mother, or just a working mother. And one of the things I've come to terms with as an adult was it was not easy for my mom when I was growing up. It was easy for me to point fingers at her about what she was doing wrong. But that's before I understood what it was like to parent teens, sometimes difficult teens, sometimes without the support of your husband or having any family members. We were very, very isolated and alienated from the rest of our family in those years. So it was really just us.
But I would also add that the school system for middle school and high school students, the support system for emotional health was not there 30 years ago and still isn't there.
No, there was virtually nothing 30 years ago. But there's a lot more now, and part of the work we do is to fill that void. So we thought it would be fun. We are actually, so here's our book, The Mother-Daughter Relationship Makeover, that came out last year, and we have a workbook. The follow-up workbook is coming out in a couple of months. So we are very much focused on parenting, family wellness, and mother and daughter topics. So we went ahead and did a little bit of research about what's trending and important for mothers parenting daughters right now. So, what if the secret to raising a confident, resilient daughter isn't about perfect parenting, but actually about connection, courage, and a little bit of letting go? Today, we're going to share some parenting insights that will hopefully transform families anywhere, and hopefully make some change for yours too. So the first thing, and this is funny, we were just saying that 30 years ago there was no therapy speak. Today there is therapy speak overload. So what does that mean? I'll explain and then I'll ask you about it.
Okay.
So teen girls are layering their everyday conversations with therapy buzzwords. Think toxic, gaslighting, emotional manipulation, often pulled straight from TikTok and Instagram. While they're picking up on emotional literacy, it is an oversimplification that can muddle communication. So if you have like some kind of teen daughter and she's, stop gaslighting me and things like that, we really want to figure out what's going on there. So can you speak to parents who are now dealing with these teenagers that are using all of these like crazy buzzwords?
I think the hardest thing when you're a mom is to have to defend yourself. So having to defend yourself is one of the most difficult things there is. So if your daughter is saying you're so controlling, as my daughter said for years, you're so controlling, mom, or you're so toxic, mom, or you're gaslighting me, or you're not telling me the truth, all of those things put mom in a position where she has to defend herself. So how do you defend yourself and how do you get that balance back? So I think it's very important to stay calm. And this is the time when moms can say, as Lindsay and I say to each other often, we're on the same team.
Right.
We're on the same team. I'm just trying to, if your teenage daughter wants freedom to go out, you as a mom have to say, I'm just trying to keep you safe.
Right. Come from what the meaning is. The other thing is from these words, I think they have to define them.
Yes, what does toxic, and we've talked about this a lot. So often there are books written about the toxic mom, there are articles written about toxicity, toxic relationships. It's a term that's used so loosely. And let's really talk about what it means to be toxic. It doesn't mean that it's not just selfish. It's not just somebody you disagree with. If you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean they're toxic.
Right.
It just means that you may disagree. You may not see things the same way. You may not see the same events the same way.
This is where intention becomes really, really important. Is my mom telling me to do this because she's trying to keep me safe?
Yeah.
Or is she actually picking on me? Is she being controlling?
I just hate that dress on you.
Right. Which kind of gets
You really look ugly with that.
Well, which gets into the next question, which is, if you're actually maintaining healthy boundaries of some kind, these words shouldn't really work. They shouldn't have a lot of power.
Yes.
So, and then we talk a lot about respect.
Well, I think it's very important for moms to respect the emotions and the experiences that their daughters are having. Now, let's remember that every mom is a mom for the first time. So she may have been excellent with toddlers and young children and may start having difficulties when her daughter reaches puberty and starts separating and becoming more secretive. So how do you manage that? How do you, as a mom, maintain the adult status and
Right.
not start acting like a teenager,
Right.
like your friends, giving in because you want to be a friend to your daughter, or giving in because you're scared of how she's going to behave. You have to not worry about whether or not she likes you.
She brings up a good point. I really want to say this. As a formerly at times toxic daughter, you also have to be careful of daughters. What's your daughter's intention? Is she actually angry about something, or is she kind of playing games and trying to make you feel bad or guilty or ashamed? So yeah, I think it's really important that we all understand, what does toxic mean? What does
Right.
gaslighting mean? And they're not just simple disagreements. It's behavior that is destructive.
Mm-hmm.
It is behavior that makes you feel like you can't trust somebody, and it can border on abuse.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're here to say, like, if there is real abuse going on, that's very serious. You have to talk to professionals. Okay, you mentioned something else, and it leads into the next question. We struggled with this. This is a really big one. I know a lot of moms and daughters who struggle with this. It is the mom-daughter best friend phenomenon. Um, and so mother-daughter relationships are evolving. Moms are increasingly seen as confidants and companions rather than authority figures. And this shift from hierarchical to emotionally connected seems to be driven by social and lifestyle changes.
Right.
So I'm going to take it back. In the old days, when we were kind of like being best friends, what were your thoughts?
I just have to take it back even farther. I think I just love those days when you loved me so much.
Right.
And little children just love their moms so much, and they'll just do anything to make them happy. And then when you started pulling away from me, and all teenage girls pull away from their mothers a little bit, can the moms reel them back in or not? But your question to me was,
So your mom was kind of made you her best friend.
my mom wanted me to, stay with her for the rest of her life. Yeah.
Do you think it was a little bit of a repetition of that? You just didn't know?
I think I just wanted to keep you safe. I think you went through a lot of illnesses when you were little. And so when you got to be a teenager and you were, super thin and you got sick a lot, I was just very worried about you.
Right.
And you weren't happy.
Right.
So
it's scary to confront
that
an angry, unhappy teenager
who doesn't look healthy.
Right.
So I think in my case, would I have been codependent with you if you had been healthy and super happy at school and all that? I think I would have gone on with my mystery writing life and not worried about you so much.
What do you think about it now?
What do I think about?
We were talking about this yesterday, like if you found a bong now.
Well, this is one of the things. Lindsay was very unhappy as a child, right?
Yes.
As a teenager.
Yes.
And so what I was doing as a mom was I was trying very hard to figure out, was it physical? Did she have a physical illness? And I think that we didn't really know how to address the kind of emotional issues and traumas that all teens really go through. So what would I do now? Well, I would check up a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think good parenting is not trying to get along with your daughter. I think good parenting is to tell your child that you're definitely we're on the same team, trying to help each other, trying to help you go through this.
But I'm not here to be your friend.
But I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to keep you safe. That's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to keep you safe. So if I were a mom now who found a bong in the desk, I would certainly, I would not say, oh, it's just marijuana, and I certainly, if you said to me over and over every weekend, I'm going to stay at Jessica's house and we're going to watch a movie, and I would call Jessica's mom.
Right.
I might check out your backpack too.
Right. By the way, had she done any of those things, she would have caught me in the act.
Yeah.
So.
And I would have been able to help you a lot sooner.
Yeah, fair enough.
So as a parent, my responsibility was to keep you safe and to make sure that you didn't do risky behaviors. And I didn't do that.
And I can say as an adult now, if there are any parents out there who are scared of their, teens who may be using or drinking, I wish somebody had stepped in sooner. I do. And it's no one's fault, certainly, but as an adult now, had somebody sat me down and said, you are a teenager.
Yeah.
You need to stop this. We need to get you some help. You are going to cause damage to yourself. I would have been really grateful because the reality is I did do damage using drugs and alcohol as a teenager. It did mess up my life in certain ways. I don't regret it. We have our path, but it had consequences. Physical, emotional, and mental consequences.
So I would say it's you talked about connection. So it's really important to keep that connection, and how you talk to your daughter about what she's getting up to. You know, what's happening at school, who are your friends, you know, asking those 5 questions over and over, so that, because, and basically sharing meals together,
Yeah.
and that you know when your child is being okay, and you know when your child is not being okay,
And I would add to that, because we've been reading about this and doing research. Even if back to the books, back to her being a busy mystery writer, if you have to set time to do this, do it.
right.
If it's not in your normal day, if it's not in your normal schedule or conversation, that's okay. But maybe every month, few months, really find a time
To check in.
to check in. Okay, the next one is really interesting. Apparently, I'm blushing. I'm in my 40s and I'm blushing talking about this, which shows how much we talked about it. And again, it's really interesting when you get the answers from us to see, what she experienced, I experienced, and now we're talking about it on the other side. So, period conversations are making a comeback. We didn't talk about this stuff, but instead of impersonal school talks, more parents are choosing to normalize and comfort their daughters through menstruation education at home. It creates a safe space, reduces awkwardness, and empowers young girls with knowledge and self acceptance. So, you had none of that.
No, I remember when I had my first period, I thought I had injured myself
Yeah.
because my mom had not prepared me, and I just got a drive into town and was given the pads,
Right.
and nobody explained anything to me. I didn't know anything. Now, Lindsay, we have different memories about this, because I remember when I sent you off to camp, I sent you off with everything you needed.
Yeah.
And I think that I told
But
you.
it didn't happen
It didn't
then.
happen then, but I did try to prepare you for it.
I knew what it was when it happened, so I was prepared. But I would bring this out from the period to talking about like sex, boyfriends and girlfriends and whatever relationships.
I would really, and it would be great if there was like a girl guide for this, because basically,
I'm sure there is.
I think one of the most traumatic things about being a woman is the fact that you're going to be bleeding for
Years of your life.
years of your
Yeah.
life. It changes your body. You have these hormone fluctuations, mood changes. Sometimes it can be quite painful. You can give birth, you can not give birth.
Right.
There's so many traumas involved with it, and I think also when girls become 13, they become bait.
What is the right age, do you think, to start talking about this? 10?
We
9,
have
10?
we have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old who already
They know what's coming.
they know what's coming. I don't know that they know all the things about staying safe, but we didn't talk about devices and the things that kids learn on.
We're gonna get there.
Okay,
We're gonna
good.
get there.
All right.
So, but from your experience, from my experience, I think we would both say that there is incredible value about talking about women's issues from a really young age.
Yes, absolutely.
Getting comfortable talking about things, not having to feel ashamed. I really feel, as a Gen Xer, I'm still in the generation where we didn't, we were seen and not heard. Our parents beat us with sticks. Just kidding, only once in a while. But we didn't talk about these things. It was very embarrassing. I certainly was not comfortable talking about these things, and I love that girls today are more comfortable with it. And I think it would have been of great value
I have to say something here.
to my self-esteem had we talked about it. Yeah.
I don't think it was that we didn't want to talk about it. I think you really didn't want to talk about it.
I don't think anybody talked about it.
Well,
There was a basic sex ed at school in those days, and that was it.
I would have been willing to talk about it.
All right.
I'd talk about it.
So, next question. I don't think there is anybody who is a part of any family that doesn't know about burnout. And specifically today, we're talking about parent burnout. But honestly, if you're parenting anything, if you're caretaking anything, there is burnout. Even in households where dads are fully involved, society still defaults to recognizable mothers, because who else? This outdated assumption adds emotional and practical load to mothers, especially those juggling no paternity leave or skewed workplace norms. Um, so moms today often are raising kids, working, trying to manage the household in some capacity.
Doing the laundry,
Lots of families have pets on top of that.
scheduling activities.
And then the scheduling of the children, which has become something beyond anything we have ever
Unbelievable.
seen before. We're going to talk about that later.
Mhm.
So, what do we say, for moms who are, burnt out? And there's lots of burnout. There's the burnout where I need a day off, and there's the burnout where you feel like you're losing your mind and would be happy to go to a mental hospital.
I used to think about going to a mental hospital.
You used to say, my mom used to say, under great stress when I was younger, I would like to go to a mental hospital now. So I assume that was coming from burnout.
I think I remember once I was so tired of making dinners every night. I was just so tired. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And so we did a week of my not doing dinner. And your dad ordered out McDonald's every night for a week.
It was
And
probably
if it-
like Chinese and pizza.
No, it wasn't. I like Chinese.
You can't order McDonald's in New York City in those
No, he would
days.
go and get it
Oh,
and come
okay.
back. And,
All right.
and
We didn't
so
eat a lot of McDonald's though.
what? It was food that
It was some kind of takeout
It was
from
some
New
kind
York
of
City,
food,
that I believe.
It was some kind of food that I didn't like. The answer to this question is families need to set up rules that allow mom to have some space. And whether that's starting from the age of 3 or 4, chores that clean up the house, put your toys away, get your clothes into the laundry room, actually helping with creating the meals and not just ordering online. So if you have a family kind of working together and have a moment where, whether it's at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or whatever, mom can take a break.
All right, I have bad news for you.
What?
A lot of moms are on their own.
No, but even if you're on your own,
You have the kids be helping.
you have you raise your kids to be helpers.
Okay.
You raise your kids to be helper, and they can't make faces when you ask them to do stuff.
I'm actually a helper. So
Were you a helper then?
not as much, but I would if you asked me to.
And that's the bottom line. I think that moms take it upon themselves and feel that they have to do
I agree.
everything. They feel they have to do everything and that they're failing if they're not doing everything. And that's kind of like our culture now, that mom needs to do all of this. And in many cultures, mom, it's expected that mom does everything and mom takes that burden on herself. But this is where a shift can be very helpful.
Shift in mindset.
Shift in mindset and family rules. And even if mom is all on her own,
Right.
all on her own.
Maybe she gets a timeout with the kids. Maybe they have
Absolutely.
to understand that there's some quiet time every day, or they have to help with the pets if they wanted the pets.
They have to
or,
help with the pets.
Maybe if mom is really unable to do cooking or chore or whatever it is, there is some solution.
In the old days, you used to send the kid to the store.
Right.
You'd send the kid to the store. Go and get some ground meat, some hamburger helper, and come back, and the kid would go to the store. Nowadays, they might order out.
Right.
And that is an expensive, and that's expensive, wasteful, not necessarily the most nutritious thing to do. So how can you, one thing that you can do is prepare your meals for the week.
That's true too. You can organize.
Or organize. You can know that your laundry is going to be done on a certain day and that everybody's going to be involved. Once again, this is a moment where you can say, we're on the same team.
Right.
Our team needs to do these.
Let's not be angry at each other about this. Let's work together to get it done faster.
And let's also create a schedule of what needs to be done every day and every week.
And rewards. If things get done,
yeah.
everyone gets their reward.
Yes.
And if you are comfortable, there is support for everything.
There is.
You can get meal kits, you can get pet help, you can get, and believe me, we're often on a budget, so we're not suggesting, throw money at the problem. Like,
We don't.
you have to have an active helping family, but, find your balance. I remember at times when I really needed help with the dog, I was paying people to come help with the dog.
Right.
And that was a splurge I was going to make because I needed the time to write the book. I needed the time to do this or whatever. So that's another thing. Prioritize. Where is your time?
But I think it's also when we talk about burnout, we also have to think in terms of how much does mom have to do and what can we give back? What are ways that we can give back? Because often she's going to give her money and the best food and everything that she has to make sure that their kids have everything. But what is she getting for herself? And maybe it needs to be part of the family culture also that mom gets something back.
Yeah.
Whether it's time, whether it's, whether it's that special treat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I want to get into the next one. So we have two beautiful nieces, 8 and 10, and we can't even keep up with their schedule.
Yeah.
Tennis, ballet, soccer, softball,
Homework.
Kumon. I don't know, but whatever it is. Kids today are scheduled in ways that we've kind of never really seen before.
Mhm.
The pressure to get into schools has never been harder. The pressure to get the scholarships or whatever it is. So it's very, very easy to fall into the idea that you need to schedule your kid into oblivion. And again, we're not here to judge anybody. We certainly, if your kid has interests and you're following them, by all means, that's a beautiful thing. But if the kid does not have a moment in the day, and this is actually causing more anxiety than progress, then what do you think? What could they be doing?
I think at every age.
All the things we did. I made a list of all the things that we had
okay,
done.
I'm looking at your notes. Well, I think that there should be a time in every family after dinner, after the homework is done, for people to literally chill out. I know that we watched television a lot when you were growing up. Yep. But I think that journaling, reading stories reading stories, having even playing games, even playing backgammon, anything that takes you away from all of the things that you're terribly worried about and your kids are terribly worried about, and just learn to self-soothe before you. And this is sleep hygiene, really. Teens are very worried. They're anxious. Some of them are already working by the time they're 14 or 15, and they need to be able to have that feeling, that whole family feeling that we're gonna calm down right now. I mean, that's
Okay, so one of the things that you brought up when we were talking about this yesterday was it's really important to know your strengths and weaknesses as parents. Do you want to talk about that for a quick second, and then I'll wrap it up?
I do. I think, as I said before, we're all parents for the first time. So I was a mom for the first time. I'd never seen a baby before. But it turned out that I was really excellent with young children. I loved it. I could be myself. I was funny. I loved to cook for them. And I loved how much they loved me. It was just amazing. So my strength is all of that custodial stuff that happens with young children. I'm really great at that. And I was good at diverting you, even when you had temper tantrums. I really knew how to distract because I'm a comedian. But as we went into those teen years, I was not an expert at being a mother of teens. And I think that that's where I needed to understand, okay, what are my shortcomings here? Why am I being laissez-faire? Why am I afraid of my daughter? Why can't I tell her what I think, in a very constructive way? I think that when she started moving away from me, I didn't want to be disliked. And I think that this is a problem for many, many, many mothers. So if you are understanding that your area of expertise is not the teen years, you might get some help there.
Okay, I like it. All right, I wrote a little wrap up, so I'm just going to read it so we can circle all the way around here. So, the trend is therapy speak. Why it matters is because it does help with emotional awareness, but it can also distort regular talk. The best friend dynamic is the trend. Why it matters. It can deepen a connection, but it definitely needs parental balance. Uh, Period education. It builds comfort, awareness, and empowerment. Default parenting stress highlights unequal expectations and burnout for moms. Um, Monthly self growth trends. That was the curriculum one. We want to promote growth, but we also want to check social pressures. So, your next moves are, moms out there,
Oh.
ditch the buzzwords but keep the feeling, turn toxic into tell me more.
Tell me more.
Wanna read that?
Okay.
Did I make it too small?
Yeah. Hold the lighthouse role. Be a steady beam, not hovering, not distant, just reliably you.
Excellent. Open up menstruation dialogue, but open up all women's issues dialogue.
Yeah.
Your calm voice paired with honesty will be daughter approved.
And share the invisible load. Wow. Question the default parent script. Dads belong here too. And if you're both part of the team, mother and daughter, how can you support the family together? How can you
Yeah.
support each other and the family together?
Yeah. Embrace simplicity and customize growth journeys. Monthly challenges are great as long as they don't come back with burnout and make everybody miserable.
Simplify, 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 simplify.
So I think, as always, our message is be nice, respect each other, communicate in healthy ways,
Have compassion.
and please follow us and keep up with what we're up to. We love to give tips and help for everyone struggling with family wellness. All right. Thanks
See-
for coming to our live.
See you next time.